today's video, we're going to talk about how generative AI is changing online search, SEO, and pay-per-click advertising. And then we're going to break down for you the 6 most dominant sources of how sellers find listing agents and what that means for your marketing. Welcome to This Week in Marketing. My name is Jason Pantnana. I'm your host, and I'm super glad you're either watching or listening based upon where you're consuming this content. I'm glad you're here. If you're new to the channel, it would mean a ton if you would tap that big red subscribe button and turn on notifications so that whenever new episodes like this one get released, you're the first to know about them. Today's video is going to be divided into 2 primary sections. First, we'll begin by talking about some major developments in the world of AI, specifically how AI, generative AI, is impacting online search. That means your SEO strategy. That means your pay-per-click strategy. And then the second part of our video today is going to be all about the 6 most dominant sources where sellers find listing agents. And so it's like, hey, if you can know where sellers go looking for listing agents, you can be like, hey, it's me over here, pick me. And you can position yourself through your marketing mix to get found and discovered and win more listings. So let's dive in, beginning first with news and updates. We got lots of ground to cover in terms of marketing news, beginning with OpenAI and the headlines. They've been on somewhat of a merger and acquisition spree here lately, and they just acquired a small little startup that raised a bunch of VC called Multi. They used to be called Remotion, and effectively they're a remote collaboration software. Well, what does that mean for OpenAI? Well, there's a lot of speculation happening around why did OpenAI purchase them, because what Multi basically does is it allows 2 web developers to work on code together through a Zoom-like virtual experience built on the Zoom infrastructure, whereby there's collaborative and screen sharing and remote desktop types of tools built in. And so what some are saying is, hey, wouldn't it make sense if ChatGPT could actually collaborate with you and perform specific tasks for you, like, I don't know, on your PC, on your phone, versus just telling you how to do them? I'm speculating, I'm totally speculating, but I find their acquisition of Multi to be quite fascinating and interesting. And wait, there's more. OpenAI remains in the news with this next headline that OpenAI starts testing SearchGPT prototype, and here's what it looks like. SearchGPT is their new AI model, and it is designed to be an online search experience, generative AI. It's gonna go toe-to-toe with Google. It's currently only in testing. Here's a little bit about what it looks like. So you can see it has some citations in there, and you may even be thinking like, hey, I've noticed some AI stuff on Google search too. And obviously Google is the kingpin when it comes to search. We know that Google is the dominant search engine. ChatGPT wants to encroach and challenge that supremacy, and we'll see if they're successful or not. But you might have already noticed what's called the search generative experience being built into Google. You might call it an AI overview that effectively synthesizes a response to your query, whatever you searched on Google, and it gives you a generative AI synthesized response. And you may be thinking like, how's that impacting SEO? How's that impacting pay-per-click advertising? And I'm so glad you asked, because I have headlines to that exact point coming up, but I am curious, are you already using a generative search kind of functionality through a large language model, whether it's ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or Meta AI? Are you already finding that it's somewhat more intuitive in understanding what it is you're seeking based upon the fact that it's a large language model and processing language is sort of its superpower? And so it can be quite effective in helping you research and find the information you're looking for on the web in a way that Google is just not the same kind of mechanism. Now, Google fully understands your queries. I mean, not fully, but it's really good at interpreting what it is you're looking for. But the way that it structurally shows you the results, it puts the most relevant links at the top, and then you have to have the responsibility as a user to click on the links and then go read that page or that page. Is this what I'm looking for? Is that what I'm looking for? And so it becomes a little bit more of a burden to you as the user to go search and find the information. So Google is basically just ranking the most relevant results, but you have to go search for them. But a search generative experience, or using a large language model for search, well, it does all of it for you, kind of. What do you think about that? Now, next article, as I foreshadowed, it reads like this: Google will soon, I guess they don't really know exactly when per se, but soon, test search shopping ads in AI overviews. Those AI overviews, I just mentioned them a moment ago. It's part of the search generative experience. It's really being powered by basically Gemini, which is the large language model behind Google and all that fun stuff. But when it first came out, those AI overviews, they initially started testing some ads in that placement just to see how they did. And then they've been collecting feedback, and it seems like they're about to go back at it again with adding ads. So I would be prepared for this. If you're running ads online, and you probably are, if you're running a business of any kind, then you've probably been wondering, hey, how is all this AI stuff going to impact both SEO and pay-per-click advertising, PPC? Now, I'm not getting into the SEO so much today, but this article does give us some sense of where things are moving from a pay-per-click advertising standpoint, because, hey, look, if the way people search the web changes, then the way we advertise on the web has to change also. And so Google appears to be moving in that direction. And so you can check it out for yourself here, but they're going to be testing both search and, by the looks of it, shopping ads inside the AI overviews through SGE, Search Generative Experience, which is part of Google's AI initiatives in the search results. That is a tongue twister. That's a lot of the use of the word search. My gosh. Anyways, I want to know, are you going to run those ads when those placements become available? All right, now this next article, I probably wouldn't have even included. I tried to do a good job of curating what is or isn't relevant for this audience. And this one's going to be technical, but based upon what we've already talked about, in that SEO is changing, PPC is changing, search online is changing, this one seems ultra relevant right now. There's a headline that's been pretty popular, here it is, that says Reddit is now blocking major search engines and AI bots, except the ones that pay, which I can spoil it for you down here. The ones that pay, it's Google. Google's paying. That's why they get to show up there. But here's the broader theme that this makes you aware of, is that SEO is changing, PPC is changing. So for example, on a website, and this is going to be more than maybe you want to know, but I'm going to tell you anyways. On a website, on the back end of that website, in its code, there is a file called a robots.txt file. And what that file effectively is the you can come in and you can't come in rules of a website. So for example, my website, jasonpantana.com, tomferry.com, every website, your website has a robots.txt file that says who can and who cannot access your page, or better spoken, what can and what cannot access your page. So for example, sometimes when I do a presentation, I offer to the audience a chance to download all my slides. Hey, go to this link on my website and you can download all my slides. But I don't want anyone to be able to Google that and then find that web page. I don't want it to show up in Google's search results. So my website gives me the ability to say no index. In other words, don't let Google add this page to its index of my website so you can't search and find it. You have to have the exact link to get to it. So that way, when Google encounters this new web page that I've published and it reads the robots.txt file, it says, go away, you can't come in, not allowed. And so Google, being above board, says, okay, fine, I get it. And they leave and they don't add that web page to their index. Well, what you're seeing is a lot of websites right now are starting to disallow different crawlers. So for example, one that I've seen a lot is a lot of websites are saying ChatGPT, OpenAI, is not allowed to crawl this web page for its contents. And so you may be aware that if you're using ChatGPT, it has this feature called browsing, whereby theoretically it has the ability to go retrieve specific web pages and the contents of those web pages, but sometimes it comes back and says, I'm sorry, I encountered an error, or I couldn't do it for some reason. And if you probe it as to why, it will tell you the answer is because that web page prevented it from doing so in its robots.txt file. So here's what I'm getting at. The world of SEO is changing. The world of PPC is changing. Get ready for it. That does it for your marketing news and updates. And we did as promised. We talked a lot about AI and how it's changing the world of SEO and pay-per-click marketing. Next, we're going to shift into tactics and tutorials centered around understanding the 6 top sources of where sellers find their listing agents and how to position yourself to be the one they find. Let's get to it. In general, not always, but in general, I'll say it like this. Buyer leads are captured, seller leads are cultivated. Wait, what? What does he mean by that? Okay, think about buyer leads. Think about how most buyer leads are generated. They inquire about a specific property. I want to go see 123 Banana Street. They sign in to tour an open house of 124 Banana Street. They want to be alerted whenever new listings that meet a specific set of specifications become available for sale in a specific area of town, so they set up listing alerts. In many cases, most cases, when it comes to buyer lead generation, you can simply make an offer that allows a buyer to inquire about a specific property, and therefore you capture that intent. I'm not trying to say like you captured a buyer lead. I'm not trying to make it like that or anything weird. I'm just simply saying you can make an offer that appeals to the intent of a buyer, and they can inquire, thus revealing their intent to potentially buy real estate, and you've generated leads. But seller leads are different. Seller leads, I said, are cultivated. Now, I'm not saying there's no such thing as seller lead generation. I'm definitely not saying that. In fact, we have a whole program inside of Tom Ferry Coaching called 100K in 100 Days. And if you look at the curriculum, the materials, a lot of the different offers to your geo farm, to your database, to your audience on social media are all centered around the idea of making an offer to find out what your house is worth in terms of its value in today's marketplace. And there are text scripts and email scripts and different ways of making those kinds of offers. So I'm not saying you can't lead generate with sellers. You can make strategic offers that will elicit an inquiry from a seller's perspective. However, in many of the cases, sellers find you, and this is what's categorically different. With buyer leads, typically you can make offers that will attract them and reveal their intent. But with seller leads, you can do that, but much of the time they seek you out. And so today's video is all about the different placements, the different marketing channels to be found by more sellers. Now, our good friends over at 1000 Watt, which is a premier marketing agency in the real estate space, do some of the best market research of consumers and their sentiment and their mentality and what kinds of messages resonate compared to anybody else in the industry. And they did a recent study that analyzed, where do sellers find the listing agent? What are the sources that sellers find the listing agent? And when you look at the chart they put together, they asked the question, how did you choose the real estate agent who helped you sell your home? So they're talking to the seller. They're asking sellers, how did you choose or find or pick your listing agent? And they said 9% of the time, they were a personal friend or family member. 34% of the time, they were referred to me by a friend or family member. So we still see that referrals is like, I call it the referral coefficient because, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. You may get business from past clients, and you will get business from past clients in your own contacts and your sphere of influence. But the number of people they're connected to is a multiplier you can't predict, the referral coefficient. There's so much business to be gained in terms of relationships. Real estate is a relationship business. 6% of the time they said they live near me and I know them as a neighbor. But the next one's where it gets super interesting to me. They said in their research that 28% of the time the seller found their listing agent by researching agents online. Reviews, transaction histories, etc. Now, this is new because we've known for a long time since the dawn of real estate agents came into existence that this is a relationship business. Always has been, always will be a relationship business, but is it becoming more of a research business whereby the consumer, the seller, looking to align themselves with the best, most competent, most capable listing agent of choice, does research online to say, hey, what do their other clients have to say about their experience? What does their track record say about them? So I want you to think for a moment about your Google business profile. We know that when it comes to reviews, the most important platform that matters absolutely the most is your Google business profile. How seriously are you prioritizing getting reviews with the right text and the right keywords from other sellers with whom you've done business so that they can become the testimony that speaks forward to future sellers who are looking up for that feedback of past clients to see should they align with you or do they want to not fall into the same trap as what your past clients had to say about you? How seriously are you taking your Google reviews? But it's not just Google reviews. It's Yelp reviews, it's Facebook reviews, it's maybe recommendations on LinkedIn, but not as much. It's certainly reviews on platforms like Zillow and Realtor.com and others like that. In fact, when it comes to transaction histories, man, Zillow's telling the whole story right there. So how seriously are you taking the off-market properties and getting those added to your profile and making sure that your profiles on these search portals like Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin are completely dialed in to attract and win over the consideration of any prospective seller who's looking to see who's the best suited agent to list and sell my home today. For example, pop over here to Google, which is the dominant search engine. I ran a search for Best Realtor San Antonio, and I know we talked about the invasion of generative search and AI changing this, but for now, it's still from a local business searching standpoint, Google is still absolutely reigning supreme. I did a simple Google search, Best Realtor San Antonio, and automatically I see up here sponsored. These are ads called Google Local Services ads. They're often referred to as Google screened. That simply means they've been screened by Google, but they're part of the local services ads. I see our good friend Levi Rogers up here with 4.9 stars on his Google business profile from 740 reviews. Way to go, dude. Levi, you're crushing it. If I scroll down here, I see what's called a Google Map Pack, where it reveals the top 3 Google profiles for that respective search. The search was Best Realtor San Antonio, and once again, Levi's ranking right here in the middle. It's saying he's got 738 reviews here, so you might be thinking like, well, that said 740 and that said 738. The difference is 2 of these reviews here were published to his local services ad and did not get published to the profile. The rest just synced right over there, and it's literally quoting snippets from his reviews. The process was seamless and easy, exactly what you want in a realtor, and it emboldens the term realtor because Google sees, well, I searched for the best realtor and the reviews are talking about how he's a realtor, so it's a match to me. And so he's building massive credibility in SEO by getting more reviews with the right keywords in those reviews. What I'm getting at is, how seriously are you taking online reviews? 28% per 1,000 watt of all sellers found their agent, their listing agent, by way of reading reviews and transaction histories. That to me smells like Google and Zillow more than anything else. How are you dialing in and optimizing for that kind of search to be discovered by sellers? Now, if you pop back over to 1,000 watt study, you'll also see this one here. 15%. Now that's a number that's been skyrocketing. That's insane. 15% of sellers found their agent because I used an agent online finding/matching service. What are they talking about? Well, I might call these agent directory sites. For example, sites like HomeLight, Fast Expert, UpNest, Dwellful, these types of websites. Do you want to know a pro tip? Here's what you should do, because there are so many, there's dozens and dozens of these referral matching sites out there. I'm going to give you 2 ways to know which ones to go after. And it begins with a simple Google search. I want you to put yourself in the shoes of a prospective seller who's looking for a listing agent. And what do? Well, the listing agents are found and discovered based upon this research, so they're going to go to Google and do some research. So putting myself in the shoes of this seller looking to find a listing agent, I might do a search like best realtor near me, or I might say top realtors near me, or top listing agent realtors near me. It could be a lot of combinations of search queries. And I would encourage you to run different combinations of different keywords and different searches just to see, do the results change? Do I see different websites that I didn't see before? If I search it like this versus like that, if I say top realtor versus top realtors, if I specifically say listing agent, what changes in terms of Google's understanding of what it's going to show me based upon the intent of my different searches? But anyways, I ran this search here, best realtor near me, and I see my LSAs. There's my good buddy Gary Ashton at the top right there in the Google screened. Once again, those Google screened, they make a difference. It's part of the Google local services ads. But what I want you to see here is who's advertising. So right now we see that Realtor.com, it says sponsored, is running ads on this. We see Fast Expert is running ads on this. Right there it says sponsored for Fast Expert. If you scroll down lower, you see Yelp's got strong organic placement, not sponsored. If you go down even further to the bottom, we might see some more ads. We see UpNest with a sponsored ad right there. And then you see some organic results. You see some Zillow and some Real Trends Verified and some HomeLight. And so there's this dichotomy between paid and organic, and certainly paying attention to organic. So on the organic side of it, it's going to be platforms like Yelp, which Yelp is reviews. Yelp is not an agent directory. They're not collecting a referral fee per se, but Yelp is organic. So how do you get more reviews and dial in your Yelp profile? How do you dial in your Google business profile? The answer is you get more reviews with the right keywords that talk about how you are the best realtor. And when I say keywords, it just means, hey, Google wants to understand who to show to the user based upon what they search. Well, what are the words they put in their search? They use words like listing agent, best realtor, top realtor, and they use location terms like near me or Nashville and so forth. And so if your Google business reviews have those keywords infused in and throughout them, Google's like, hey, you should look at this person here because I'm going to rank them because they appear to be exactly what you are seeking, don't they? Now, I don't want to confuse you because there's a blending here. You're seeing platforms like Realtor.com and Zillow and stuff like that and Yelp, and you're like, well, those are like more reviews, aren't they? Yeah, they're more reviews. But sites like Fast Expert, for instance, what they're doing when they're running an ad here is they're clearly trying to get in front of that traffic. The way they ran that's called a Google search ad. So the way it's being shown to me is based upon what I searched. What did I search? Best realtor, and then I said near me. Now, it's not running ads on the keyword near me. It's likely running geo-targeted ads. So it knows, hey, anybody who searches best realtor in this area, show them top selling realtor search by zip code. So they're running the ad on best realtor. So then I want to show you another website. I just did a quick search for Transparency Center Google, and you can click on the first result here. It says Add Transparency Center by Google, and this allows you to spy on the ads that anybody's running so you can see what kind of keywords are they actually bidding on. So I'm going to scroll down here. I'm going to just say really quick, all shown in the US, all platforms, which includes, of course, Google Maps, Google Play, Google Shopping, Google Search, and YouTube, all the platforms. Fine. Anytime I can change that. I'm going to just put in here, I'm going to say fastexpert.com. And there it is, click it. And then it's going to start showing me all the ads they're running. I'm sorting by the most recent. I can see all formats or specific formats. I can click see more ads, and there's a lot of them. Top selling realtors, realtors in your area, sell your home for more money, top selling realtors. So I'm starting to get a sense for the verbiage that they are trying to get in front of. And so what I'm getting at is, hey, look, if you look over at this study once again, we know that 28% of sellers found their agent because they read reviews and or transaction histories. That is more than anything else, your Google reviews and your Zillow transaction histories. There are other platforms too. It's not just those. It's Yelp and it's Facebook and it's stuff like that. But I want you to be clear, like it's Google and Zillow for darn sure. But then 15% use an agent finding matching service. So like a HomeLight, an UpNest, a Dwellful, something like that, where they wanted to go through the vetted curation of who's the best and most qualified, competent for the job. Now you may be thinking, but Jason, if I go through one of those services, I got to pay a referral fee. And I'm like, yeah, you do, but what's the lifetime customer value of a seller for you? Because one of my great clients put it like this: I want my listings to have listing babies and generate more listings. You should be living off your listings. And so if you get one listing, it could be 2 or 3 more listings and then 2 or 3 more listings, and it's a force multiplier of more listings. One of the best ways to get more listings is to use the listings you've already got. And so that means it comes at the cost of a one-time referral fee for one listing. Sign me up, because I'm going to use it for the lifetime customer value to get more listings. But even so, once you know that you're okay with the referral fee, the question is, well, which of these platforms are the most important for me to prioritize my focus on? And that's why you would do what I just showed you. You would run different searches, putting yourself in the shoes of a prospective seller to see who's running ads trying to intercept that traffic. Because if somebody's trying to get in front of that search in your local marketplace, then they're the ones who are likely going to get the clicks, and they're going to get the conversions, and they're going to have the leads to hand out. And so you should focus your efforts on those players to make sure that you are their go-to listing agent to be that first call for that next prospective seller. Because this one right here, 15%, I used an online agent finding matching service to help me find the best, most qualified, most competent, most capable agent to get my home sold. Real estate's a relationship business. It always has been, but it's turning into more of a research business. Are you ready for that? What are the changes you're making to be ready for that? And then last, they said that 7% say, I saw a piece of advertising or marketing that impressed me. Okay, so you had a great sale in a specific area and you sent an awesome letter or an awesome mailer to all the neighbors and it impressed them. And they thought, you know what? We should have a listing agent like that to sell our property, and they reached out to you that way. What are the ways that you are utilizing the momentum of the sale of a home to generate more prospective inquiries of future sellers to generate a pipeline filled with listings for yourself? It could have been a postcard. It could have been a letter. It could have been a video. It was an impressive piece of marketing. And I'm not saying that this means, oh, without a doubt, it was always about another listing they had. I'm simply saying it impressed them. What would impress sellers more than being impressive in the sale of somebody else's home? Because that then gives them the confidence that you're a great agent for hire. I'm not saying that's always what it's about, but I am asking you the question, are you leveraging your listings? Are you leveraging your listings? I've been asking my audience this question a lot when I'm on the road speaking for events. I've been asking, are you the seller's dream agent? In other words, are you marketing and representing the sellers you've got today, your listings, in a way that when other prospective sellers see how good you are at your job, they think, we need to list with somebody just like that. This graph right here, that's money right there. It's telling you that real estate is a relationship business, but it's becoming more and more and more a research business. Are you positioned to win? I love marketing. It's always changing, that's for sure, but I love marketing because whenever it changes, it creates a foothold opportunity for you to be the one who takes advantage of the change. So let me know in the comments, what are you gonna do based upon this show today? What really just made a light bulb above your head just flick on and you thought, that's my marching order next to go get me some more sellers, to change my SEO strategy? I can't wait to hear from you in the comments. Until next week, this is This Week in Marketing.